Tangazi. Today I am standing here to give the presentation about the passive fire protection system in compliance with the structural requirement and the New Zealand Building Code. Generally, we are finding out the issues and then the recommendation about that. And then for the introduction, like the passive fire protection is a barrier or shield that stops the spread of fire in the one area to another area. Like when the occasion of the fire, it helps to prevent like it takes some times to pass that fire to other floors, like it's times upon like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 120 minutes, depends on the what type of materials we use in the buildings. And for example, it's like the fire stopping, compartmentation, fire doors, penetration and seals, fire resistant ratings are some of the examples of the passive fire protection. And as you see there here, I mentioned details about the fire resistant sealings, ventilation ductwork, smoke extraction ducting, and penetration seals, compartmentation wall, service enclosure, smoke extraction plenums. That this all the function is included in the passive fire protection components of the buildings. And for the introduction of the observation side, we have took the UV building where we used to study here. It is the commercial type of the buildings that we are using for the educational purpose. And in this buildings is located in the Tree City Road, Grafton, Auckland, New Zealand. Out of the 8th floor, I am doing the observation in the 7th floor. As I already mentioned, it is the medium sized building for the educational service, and the observation is mainly focused on the conformity to the building's codes and standards, and the protection of the occupants and property, and the evaluation of the fire protection layers, walls, floors and doors. And at last, it's the status of the fire stopping services around penetrations, cables, dogs, etc. to protect students, staff, visitors and any others who use the buildings for true well-designed passive fire protection systems. And the first one that I found the issue in the fire stopping, as the fire stopping is of the filling and joints between the walls and ceilings need to be sealed properly. So to prevent the spread of the fire between compartmentation within the building. Like the area most overlooked here is the pipe and cable penetration in this. As you clearly see, like here is the holes between the ducts. So the power data and wastewater is the like we use for the water or wastewater pipes, as most of these are hidden in the cabinets and in ceiling spots. It's a vital these penetration cells are installed correctly with the appropriate products sustaining the life of the buildings. Pipes and cables will burn in the occasion of the fire and melt in the fire, leaving a holes that creates a chimney effect, causing fire and smoke to spread rapidly to the next floor or room. So as the issue, we need to have some recommendation, like we have to ensure that the building is compliant with New Zealand Building Code, and specifically clause C. Clause C is for the protection of fire. Use the fire related materials that meet the acceptable solutions or 4072.1 and acceptable solution 15304 requirements. Install fire stop systems according to the manufacturer instruction. We have to follow the manufacturer instruction. And then the conduct regular inspection. We have to do the regular inspection for the maintenance, and if there is something wrong, then we have to fix it during the time. Ensure proper labeling and identification of fire stop system. Metals pipes needs only fire sealant or wrap. So as we are going for the plastic metals, then we have to ensure that there must be the sealants or wraps. If it's a plastic, then we need coolers. Coolers is like same the sealants, like it covers the, can you go to the previous slide? It covers this part properly. So that's one is the function of the coolers. And then we have to pay attention to the pipe penetrations in concealed spaces and follow clause or acceptable solution guides for buildings with mixed users or varying occupancy types ensure fire stops system meet specific fire resistance requirements as outlined in the New Zealand Building Code. And then the second one is the penetration and seals. The penetration and seals is the same like the fire stopping. However, like the penetration and seal is we found in the compartmentation. As you see in the compartmentation, if you carefully look here, there is the gap between the walls and then the structural membrane. And then if you also see here, here is the gap between the compartmentation separation, like the partition glass to glass and then the ceilings. So here is the holes between this. As a part of this fire rated room, there will be various forms of penetration, from doors openings, windows, power point switches, lighting. So all of this compromise the fire integrity of the room. This penetration needs to be filled with passive products such as fire doors and glass, both with suitable frame-rated glass and hardware. Power points, lights and switches are also required to be suitably fire-rated. However, there is a void, so I already mentioned the voids. So in next slide, I will give the recommendation. So for the voids between the columns and the wall ceilings and glass partition, so fill the void between the columns and then with appropriate fire-resistant materials such as fire-rated sealants or mortar. Also ensure that any gaps are sealed by New Zealand Building Code Clause C and acceptable solution 2 and tested to relevant standards like Australian Standard 4072.1. And the void between ceilings and glass partition use a fire-rated glass ceiling system that meets the requirement of New Zealand Building Code. Same, ensure that the gaps and between any ceilings and then the glass partition are sealed with the fire-resistant materials. As like we need to do the regular maintenance.
3 minutes more.
Okay, regular maintenance. Next slide. As emergency egress, if we see that here is only like the staircase, we don't have the ramps. So in the occasion of the fire, the wheelchair user have a particular problem and that most are unable to negotiate as there is no ramps, which cause a major issue during the fire. So in event of the fire cord and then the escalator may stop functioning, preventing user with a steep staircase with excessively high and changing riser with sharp noising as like this one, other one. And the recommendation like the accessible exit and some buildings user may need the assistance during the fire events. We have to provide them the assistance and install accessible doors that comply with New Zealand Standard 4121 2001, designed for accessible and mobility. And then the ramps incorporate ramps with a gradient no steeper than 1:12, as specified in the New Zealand Standard 4121 to provide an alternative to stair for wheelchair users. Next. And next one is the fire door. If the fire door is well designed and then it will delay the fire. However, we see the gap in this. So we need to have the drop down cells. So here is no drop down cell which can cause the fire pass from one doors to other floor, other step fastly. So we also don't have the lock latches, as we see that we just have the handrails with no lock latches. So this needs to be installed, and the rating is also not mentioned. Gaps at the bottom and edges of the door can allow smoke, hot gases and fire to pass through. And as we see that this is the automatic drop down cells, so it will be automatic drop down during the event of the fire. And then there is also like this one, locks and latches. These two are missing in our fire doors. And recommendation. So to ensure fire doors meet New Zealand Building Code, ensure the fire doors comply with the New Zealand Building Code. Same, install smoke cells and drop down cells around the perimeter of the fire door to prevent smoke passes. And then maintain all the documentation that need to be included with the fire doors, and then conduct regular inspection.
30 seconds more.
So by following this recommendation, like we use the categories fire door 30 minutes, 60 minutes and 120 minutes like this. And then the 5th is the fire resistant rating. This is the rating done for the structural adequacy, integrity, and then the insulation of the building to stop heat from passing through. And then the recommendation is, so if we are using the carpet for the materials, in the events of fire, the carpet will burn very
Time
rapidly
is up.
and expire at last. So this is the recommendation. We have to go through the nylon or the wool carpets in case for the fire resistant rating. And the conclusion, this is all of my documents, like the pacifier protection is all of this one. I have mentioned like the 5 different issues and recommendation. Thank you.
Reference please, yes. Okay. Ina, could you please highlight what are the 2 main requirements should be there in fire doors and hardwares?
So the fire doors and hardware needs to be like I already mentioned, there is no drop down cell. So we have to need a drop down cell, and all the hardware is maintained, and it's like the automatically connected with the central alarm system.
Okay.
So that the fire door can lock during the event of the
Okay.
fire.
Susan, could you please go to the first slide? First image. Yeah. No. Yeah. Ina, could you please explain what you mean by this smoke extraction planner?
So the smoke extraction panels is like the like when the smoke is happen, it helps to the smoke not pass through the other floor. With the help of the extraction panels, it's like the in the materials they have fitted fitted in the like in the ground. How to it's like from the floor system they already this. From this
In order
they
to
have
prevent the
built
fire,
fires.
in order to pass to another
Yeah,
floor.
another
Okay.
floor.
All good. Thank you so much.